All right. This next one, we're going to be learning about masking. And masking is a great new tool in Lightroom that quickly helps you select certain areas to edit them. And that's found right here on the sidebar with this icon, the little circle right below the band-aid. As we open this up, we have a few different options by default. We have select subject, select sky, brush, gradient as a linear and a radial, and as a color range and luminance. It'll also pop up with a quick tour, which I highly recommend you check out because it'll walk you through some of these details as well. First, I just want to talk about the select subject, and this has been getting better and better over the years. As I click on this, it's going to think, it's going to find the subject in this photo, and it selected my wife and the stroller, which is just magic. It doesn't always work perfectly. Sometimes you have to paint things in, but right now, it's selected my wife, and we can see that as it turned red. Now, what this will allow me to do is as I make edits, it will just make edits to what's masked out there. So my wife, a little bit dark right here. We can't really see any of the details. So I might just bring up brightness a little bit, and that way she doesn't look like a silhouette. On the opposite, I could be like, you know what? Let's make it a little bit more dramatic. Let's make her a silhouette. And now it's all blackened out. But I'll bring up that color just a little bit there. Now, I like this sky, but let's see what we do. So we're going to select the sky right here. And now we have the sky selected. And I might want to start playing with some of the temperature in it. And I can make it just a little bit more blue, a little bit happier day. And you'll notice like we could do a more evening look as we take the temperature that way. Or suddenly just much brighter right there. I can play with exposure, make it brighter. I can play with all of these different things right here, and it'll just have that sky masked out. We can also add to ours. You'll notice mine didn't really select those clouds, so I'm going to add to it using the brush. And using the bracket keys, I can shrink down this brush, or I can drag this size slider right here. And I'm just going to paint these clouds in. So now those should be included with that original mask. There we go. So now we've got that brush in there. So now those will change as well. I can also brush in areas, linear gradient or radial gradient. And I want to show those right here. So let's find a good photo of the beach right here. And let's say I want to have a vignette, but I want to have it just kind of focused up here instead of just by the default. So I can add a radial gradient to it. So I will add the radial gradient, and it'll allow me to click on the photo and drag out a circle. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to highlight this person and their dog. So I'll move this right on over here. And now I have just this selected. And if I brought down exposure, that's the opposite of what I want to do. So I'm going to click on this, get it back to 0, typing in 0 there and hit enter. And I'll right click on this. Right click on it up here on the gradient mask part, right click and hit invert. And now everything's selected except for this person and their dog. So as I bring down exposure, I can have my focus right there. Or if I want to make it a little bit more subtle, maybe I take the saturation out of most of the photo and leave it right there. Or I want to drop down the texture and the clarity to really blur everything out and give it a very dreamy look, except for, again, focus on that person. So this will allow us to create a gradient based on a circle. And let's say I wanted to drag this out a little bit longer, shrink it down. I can do that by just grabbing these little handholds and bringing it out. Can even create a nice little tilt shift effect right there. So again, masks right here under this circle. Select subject, select sky, and linear and radial gradients.